Welcome to Tara Talking, the podcast that's named after the blog that's just me, telling stories to offer help, healing, and hope as you journey into your passionate, purposeful, and prosperous life. Thanks for coming along on the ride, and now on to today's topic. What's up? I'm back. I cannot believe this is the first live of February, but it has been a month already. It has just been a crazy last couple of days with a sick kid and trying to keep her at home, which we have successfully done. And for those who may not know my story with Kendall, my youngest, she has a penchant for getting really sick and going to the hospital a lot. And it's not just a hospital that's down the street, it's a hospital that's 3 hours away. So being able to stay home through an illness has been awesome, but has required all hands on deck from me. So there hasn't been a whole lot of extra time in my days. And I had posted earlier today that was actually something that I've been struggling with, is just feeling like with 4 kids and running my own business and helping build up my boyfriend's business. He's also self-employed. It can get really crazy some days. And if I don't run things exactly like a tight ship, lots of stuff falls through the cracks. And I'm kind of used to that. I'm not really a type A person, we'll figure a lot of stuff out. But it has been a really testing my ability to just sit in the here and now, to just be here, to just be in the here and now without thinking of all the other things that I needed to be doing. But I'm back tonight, and again, I had a lot of really big plans for February, but I think we're going to just kind of start going with the flow. Sorry, I'm having a ton of PVCs right now. They hurt. And I know that I'm not alone in that. A lot of you have PVCs too, and they can be annoying. So I'm going to try to calm them down. What I wanted to talk about tonight is that learning to define success for yourself, because as women, I feel like there's a lot of stuff thrown at us, and I'm sure men go through this too, where success kind of has this specific connotation, and you're held to the standard that kind of our society has as to what success is. But what I want to start a dialogue, what I really want to start bringing into this group for you, is understanding that success gets to be defined by you. Success gets to be defined by what you believe is successful. But when you haven't taken the time to really dig into what that is or what that looks like, it's very easy to just rely on and lean on what society uses as success. And I think one of the biggest keys to that is that society tends to say that a lot of money is what equals success. And of course, in most of our hearts, minds, and souls, we understand at a certain level that money doesn't equal success. And yet it's hard to not live according to that, or to feel less than successful if there isn't a certain amount of income coming in. If you haven't hit a certain level of car status or purse status or clothes status, whatever that is and looks like. Again, I know that most of us don't live on the surface as if that's how it feels, but there can be some of those kind of underlying feelings of, I'm not good enough because I'm not there yet. And one thing for me that over the last few years, something that I realized I was doing, and it was a really actual painful part of my journey to realize that how I defined success wasn't even really authentic to who I was. Success seemed to be forever out of my reach. And I say this a lot in this group about living the life you imagined. To me, that was success, but I knew I wasn't living that life. In my mind, when I first heard this phrase, and it is from a Henry David Thoreau essay where he says, I wanted to go to the pond. I wanted to go, it's Walden Pond that he goes to, and just kind of basically like removes himself from society, tries to figure life out. And he says, I just wanted to go and live the life that I'd imagined. And I don't know that he ever really fully defines it, but you start to realize it's this life where you're not tied down by society's expectations. You're not feeling this inadequacy because you just are enough. You realize that you are enough. And so as I started to realize that was success to me, truly success, was to feel like I could live in my authentic truth. I started to realize that there was so much else that I was putting up with in my life. And I know that some of you are dealing with these same things, because a few weeks ago I had asked, I forget even what the question was, but as I was going through the answers from it, I started to realize that yes, some of these things are so universal. And I didn't take anyone's specific words, but I was able to take some of those answers and realize that the pain underneath the pain of what you guys were struggling with is the same stuff that I was struggling with. And I know that you can still live a very happy life. I'm not saying that just because of some of these answers to the questions means that you're not living a good life, or that you're not making a life for yourself that you're proud of. You probably are. But sometimes in the dark of night, when you really can ask yourself some tough questions and get brutally honest with yourself, there's a lot of pains and traumas that we still carry around, even if life seems like it's okay and it's good enough. I'm not here to judge whether or not it is good enough for you, but I'm just here to say that if you're feeling that sense of life is good, but I know there can be so much more, not because you're attaining some Kardashian level status, but because you inside of your own self, your own heart is calling out for you to have more authenticity. And authenticity being that you're not living in this prison of your own doing, the prison of just feeling like you can't actually be yourself. And the bricks that get made for that prison are the chaos that we can live in some days, with drama surrounding us and chasing us down. We question ourselves. We question, am I good enough? Do I need to do more? Where else am I going? Will anyone ever love me again? Those are the questions that we can sometimes ask ourselves. We feel broken and fragmented. Again, not on a surface level. I'm talking, these are some deep things that for me, I could hardly even write them in my journal, let alone say them out loud to someone else. And that's where that incongruous nature comes from, because on the surface, I was living my life as if, yeah, life is hard, but we're all going to be okay. And underneath, it wasn't even like the duck paddling. I was like drowning underneath, being pulled under by the cement weight of these bricks of this prison that I had set up for myself of inauthenticity. There were times where it was physical pain, it was anxiety, it was depression. It's just waiting for someone else to give you permission to say what it is that you want to say, to feel how you want to feel. It felt very stuck. And I say that a lot. I feel stuck, or I felt stuck. And I don't know how many of you can identify with the words that I'm saying, but I know that there are so many of you who need to hear this. And this is why I come live. This is why I pour my heart out and soul into this and create the courses that I'm creating, and have set up the group course, the group coaching that is going to start in a couple weeks. Because I know what it's like to be stuck in that pain. And I know what it's like to not even really necessarily be able to say out loud to yourself,